Hey guys, Nuie here, back once again with another Game of Thrones discussion video. So let's talk about Game of Thrones episode 2. Season is definitely in gear. We had a lot happen today. A lot of it was more centered around Dany and everything that she's trying to accomplish, and we had significantly less of Cersei and Stark, though we did get quite a few important scenes from Stark, and I'll touch on those after I talk about what's going on with Dany and everything. So Dany is definitely into her undergoings of what she wants to do when now that she's here in Westeros. Her first action that they brought to our attention was to mention um, how she doesn't really trust certain people in her crew. She definitely is very aware that certain people are more focused on their own personal pursuits over her accomplishments, and they will take turns or take a whatever turn if they see her going a bad way. Will definitely hop off ship, and be quick to turn on her. And she wanted to address that as well as make sure that she makes sure that that person is aware of the fact she knows they are very wishy-washy with their goals. So I think that's important because it shows that she's very conscious of the people who are surrounding her. Previously, she didn't really have the most awareness when it came to people who surrounded her, and she just kind of let whoever in, whoever wanted to. So it shows her character growth, and it shows that she's actually growing more into what she needs to be able to conquer Westeros, and pretty much that's it. We'll basically conquer Westeros and end up ruling eventually. But she also told now, in my first episode, I talked about the relationship that I feel will be developing from Jon Snow and Dany. Um, this episode does not make me feel any different, to be honest. Now she did have one scene where she literally told, we had Malastra, whatever red bitch's name is, old red bitch who brought John back. Can't think of her name. Yeah. She's finally made it all the way out to Dragonstone. She went really far because if you remember, John told her never to come back, so she went all the way out there. So she ended up telling Dany about Jon Snow, which I predicted. And also, like I predicted, Tyrion knew exactly who that was and said that he is great and that they should form an alliance. So Dany's response was, "Yeah, sure, tell him to come down here and bend the knee." Dany, we were talking a lot. Now he's gonna bend the knee. Okay. Alright, Dany, that's cool. Not exactly where I saw that going. But I don't know. I don't feel like John's coming down there to bend the knee. I feel like he's definitely gonna talk. I feel like he's definitely gonna be interested in Dany, and I feel like he is not gonna try to miss this opportunity because not only do they need the dragon glass because the White Walkers are coming, they need that army and they need those dragons. So we need them to come together, and we need it to happen, and I feel like it's going to. Though I feel like there's definitely going to be some hurt feelings because just from the previews they showed us, Dany does not have any intention of a proper alliance. She has the full intentions of ruling, so it's going to be very difficult for Jon to actually make that alliance and appease her without giving away his strengths in the north. I can say I'll say it like that. But that's now Dany. Oh, other things that happen with Dany. Dany has sent Reek, as I'm gonna call him. I can't really blame Reek, but yeah, he sent Reek, Blaze of Dawn, old grandma's armies out to go capture, go surround King's Landing, take it over. And then meanwhile, Grey Worm and that horde are supposed to go capture Castle Rock. Now, Cersei, as shown, well, sort of as shown, is pretty much aware of what Tyrion will do. But in the same token, Tyrion is aware of thoughts that Cersei has. And this is going to be very interesting as the show goes on because they were so close growing up, even though Tyrion is not a huge fan of Cersei. He's very aware of her mentality, the things she tries to accomplish, the things she wants to do. So it's very easy for both of them to predict each other's movements, which is why I think it's important that Grandma and Dany had that talk, because it lets Dany really think to start making more of her own choices. Even though Tyrion is wonderful and he's got great advice and he understands the situation more so than she does, because he's been inside of it and he's been living it and she's been basically a spectator. She has to still take her own chances and her own risks versus just following him, because even though he's very well aware, he's also he's kind of neutralized at a point, because Cersei still has her brother, so he's still aware of everything that Tyrion will try to do. So they're almost neutralizing each other when it comes to that. I still give Tyrion the edge because he's a bit more clever than Cersei. Cersei is very straightforward because she's basically just a wounded animal, and wounded animals pretty much act in one way, which is go for the throat. That's pretty much how they work. So I think it's very interesting that way, but I definitely feel like Dany's gonna be able to come this out, especially if she hooks up with Jon. But yeah, Reek and crew got fucked up. Oh my god. We have 2 deaths that bother me. One other thing that bothered me too. Thinking about that with the Ladies of Dawn. Two of the Daughters of Dawn are dead. So I can't really remember the name. I only really remember the Daughters of Dawn because of the infamous most beautiful woman in the world scene. But she's dead. So how I feel about that. I don't know. I don't feel like those two should have died like that. I don't feel like he would have been able to take both of them out like that. And I'm also confused because I'm pretty sure in the middle of that scuffle she got a clean knife stab off, and they always have poisons on their knives, so he should be dead. But then again, it did no, it's pretty fast acting. It was really dependent on the poison they used though, so I don't know. I feel like he should be dead. I feel like he should die from that. But they're getting paraded in like hoes, and they're gonna get paraded up to Cersei, and I guess that's his gift that he wants to present to her for his alliance. So I just don't know. I feel like it's hard because we haven't really gotten a full view of his skills. So I can't say for certain if he can beat them or not, but I felt like they should have been able to either beat him or run. At least with some involvement from his crew. Without some involvement from his crew, I don't feel like he 2v1s them or 1v2s them. I feel like he needs some help from his crew. I don't feel like he just takes them out with his axe or whatever. But it's fine. It's whatever. But we have her captured. We have Reek hopping ship. I know a lot of people are gonna be mad. I am not actually not mad at Reek. I'll call him Theon. Sorry. But I'm not really mad at him. I understand what he did, and his first thought is her survival. Even though looks like he's panicking, he's still thinking her survival. If he goes for it, then he's probably dead. If he doesn't go for it and stays on the ship, then she might die. So it's a very, very difficult situation. And I know a lot of people are just going to hop on him and say he's a bad guy, he jumped ship, he's a pussy. I get that. But you gotta think long term. no one else really survived that situation. Pretty much all of the ship is dead or captured. He's got a chance to run back to Danny and tell her what's going on. Now, I don't know if he's going to do that, because I kind of feel like he's going to just end up following the ship, or trying to follow the ship, and just seeing if he can get after her. At least that's what I'm hoping. But, he's got a chance to get back and talk to Danny about what's going on, what happened, and how everyone got captured, and that 2 of the Donish women are dead. He's got a chance to do that. Now, if he never does that, and he goes and he just swims around and then goes into hiding, then yeah, he's Reek and he's a pussy. But until I see what goes on with him and what he does, he's Theon, because he still made, to me, a smarter decision by jumping ship and being able to escape, because they didn't go after him, so he's able to escape. Now, I know that sounds wrong, and I know you guys are all riled up, and I know you guys are thinking, oh my god, this dude is a pussy, but come on, think about it. He can get back to Danny. She has a second army. That wasn't her army that got taken out or attacked. She can go after them. Now, I don't know if she's going to have time to go after them, because pretty sure at the same moment, she's sending Grey Worm out to go capture Castle Rock. And that's going to be a problem. But, I don't know. I feel like it can work. It can definitely work. But I don't want you guys to hop on the Theon hate train yet, and I'm not going to be on the Theon hate train yet. If he comes back and he's a pussy, then I will be on the Theon hate train. Absolutely. That bitch will be Reek. He will be Reek from now until the end of time. And he will have no say in anything. No say in anything. He would just be Reek. Last thing I'm gonna cover though. What happened with the Starks this episode? Couple interesting moments. We'll start out with Jon. Jon got Tyrion's letter, so he knows it's Tyrion because of the last thing he said. Because dwarves and bastards. So he knows it's Tyrion, and he's told everyone that he's going out there. He's also gotten the news from Sam. Wow, actually, let's hop to that first, because that tails into Danny. So heading over that, Sam. Okay, I'm gonna have no mixed feelings about this. Sam is annoying as hell. Like, Sam still continues to be an annoying character. Like, he's a great character in what he's doing. It's great that he's getting all this information for them. He's finding all this information. He's even doing a little spy work, almost. Though not really, because it's all old dudes, and they really don't seem to give a fuck who reads in their information or not. It's kind of just there to be read. As stated by the Archmaester, I'm not writing a book for it to sit on a shelf. I'm writing a book for it to be read. But Sam is starting to get a lot of useful information, and he's also met up with Jorah. Now, we don't know how that procedure went because they cut away from it. But he's over there peeling off this grayscale curse, or disease, I'll say, from Jorah, and he's going to apply an ointment under it. Now, this is very important because Danny commanded, she did not ask, she commanded Jorah to get the cure for his disease, and then return to her. So, this can kind of have two different fronts, because I feel like, with Jon Snow meeting her, he and her might clash. They might have a bad moment, but if Jorah gets healed in time, he might be able to make it over there and patch that up, because Jorah will now have known Sam. So if Jorah knows Sam, and he's talked to him, and says he's the one who saved him, and Sam is so close with Jon, Jorah may be able to patch that up between those two. He might be able to patch that up. Now, I don't know if that's pretty far-fetched. That is a little bit far-fetched, because one, Jorah, if you saw how that procedure was going down, Jorah is getting his whole skin is getting peeled off, and then a cream's getting put on under it. So I can't see that being done I can't see that being done already. I get that he had to do it in probably one night, so he probably was working pretty quick and that probably hurt like an absolute fucker. Just having your skin peeled with basically a rock hammer and a pair of scissors and going at it. So yeah, that's all. It's a far-fetched thought, but he might, considering that letter, he might add something in there and send that letter over. So that's the way I see it could work. But happen back to the Starks. Snow got that letter. He's heading down to go see Dany. He's told everyone in the North, and he's basically anointed Sansa as Queen in the North right now, effectively. Now, the title and stuff is not actually there, but effectively that's what she is. She's the last remaining Stark. She's out there, and she's basically saying, if I'm to die out here, you will be Queen of the North. Well, basically, I have to go. I have to do this. The White Walkers are coming. We need Dragonglass. I have to go. Now, Sansa, to me, Little Worm needs to not do anything to Sansa. And if he even takes that step, Bran needs to kill him. I know, well, maybe not kill him, but punch him hard as fuck in the face. Because, Little Worm wants some ass. Littlefinger wants some ass. He wants some ass. He really wants some ass. I cannot express that enough. He really is trying to get in Sansa's guts. So, we need, now that she's Queen of the North, he's gonna try even harder to get in them guts. She's fully aware of it. Now, his army was useful, but, what he did, trying to talk to Jon, that was dumb as hell. That is Sansa's big brother. You don't go to any dude's big brother after going after their little sister in a fucked up way, and then just try to talk it out. Like, no, don't ever do that. Don't ever think that's a good idea. Don't ever even try that. And this is like a real life lesson. If you do something fucked up to some kid's little sister, don't go try to talk to their older brother, because they'll probably fuck you up. And Jon probably was about to fuck him up. And probably will kill him. If he gets to that point, he's probably going to kill him. He's probably going to run him through with no remorse. Just not a smart idea. Not a smart idea. But so that's going down. And Arya has finally found out. Two things happened with Arya this episode. Two things happened with Arya. She's finally found out because she visited an old friend, and yeah, oh my god, hilarious scene. She's talking about cooking pies. Wow. Arya is on a whole different level right now. Just cooking people. Should have browned the sugar though. She didn't brown the sugar beforehand, but she learned a new lesson. So but the important news is that she's found out that her family is back in power in the north. Now, I was wondering that in the first episode. I was wondering why she was heading south instead of heading north, because I was like, she should be aware of them, right? Wasn't Brienne trying to bring her out there? And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, she's probably not aware that Jon and Sansa have won that fight. She's aware that they're in the north, but she's not aware that they won. So now she's completely just gone. She's stopped her whole mission of, I'm going after Cersei's head, and she's on her way north. This is good in two fronts, because one, she would never have been able to get into Queen's Landing. Dany's whole Dornish and army is going to be surrounding that Queen's Landing or King's Landing. She would never have gotten in. She just wouldn't. But in the same token, she can get to the north. Now, she's a little bit bad when it comes to probably foraging through the winter, but I think she'll make it. But she should be fine. She'll get out there and she'll be able to meet up with her family. Well, at least Sansa. She's definitely gonna miss Jon, but she'll meet up with Sansa. So things can progress quite a bit more from that standpoint, which is that's the first important thing. The second important thing is she met up with what she thought is her wolf. Now, dire wolves, as we know from Game of Thrones, one, they are very, very, and not even just Game of Thrones, life. Dire wolves, they hunt in packs, and they're very, very vicious. And we got that scene where we saw her surrounded. And she didn't realize they were around her until her horse realized it. So she's surrounded by them. And she gets this huge face-to-face moment with a wolf, and she thinks it's hers. And she calls out its name, and she calls out Lymira. And it stares at her, but it walks away. Now, she says it wasn't her, and I'm really not sure if it was or not. But I'm kind of leaning towards that it wasn't. But when I look at that, the fact the wolves did not tear her to shreds shows that she's a Stark. And shows that she needs to head home. Not because of just like it's a wolf acknowledging her. The dire wolves in particular only seem to acknowledge the Stark family and people in the Stark family. I have not seen a single other dire wolf acknowledge a single other person in this series, except to kill them in defense of a Stark, the way a dire wolf will acknowledge a Stark. So I believe she really will find her way home, and it's going to be a great moment. And I think it's just it was so wonderfully seen, because it shows how close she is to home, but she's not there yet. Because it shows her exactly what her childhood was, and exactly what she grew up with, and she's so close to it, but she's not there yet. And I think that's going to motivate her to make it to the North even more. So I think that's a wonderful scene. So that pretty much covers up this episode. Oh, one more thing. Grey Worm and Missandei finally hooked up. Finally hooked up. Well, sort of hooked up. So, that was a great scene too. I know... And I really, look, I don't care if I get flack for this. Feminists, I need you guys to shut the fuck up for like 5 minutes for this entire scene and everything that happens here. And just understand what Grey Worm has said. Because you guys are going to definitely hop on this strong woman train bullshit. And it's not bullshit. I don't mean to say bullshit because it's not really bullshit. Like, women are very strong people. But you guys are taking it to such a horrible point, and you're gonna miss the power in that scene because you're too busy being fed up with men and fed up with things that are going on in your life. You're gonna miss what he said. You're gonna miss the point that he made about her being his weakness. Not because she herself is weak, but because now he has one fear in this world, and it's the fear that he will never see her again. His fear, him calling her his weakness is not that she is a weak creature. It's not saying women are weak creatures. It's not saying that. He is saying, when I grew up, the reason they put me in this role is because I had no weaknesses. But I was the bravest one among us. And now that I have met you, I am finally have a weakness because you are my weakness, because you are the only person in the world that I fear might die. I fear that I will never get to see you again. That is what he's saying. If you guys miss that scene because you're too caught up in your feminist fucking propaganda shit and ruin that scene for people in this world, you suck. You guys just suck. Like, I need you to understand that. You guys just suck. Like, that scene was wonderful. He said it perfectly. The only problem I have with that scene is them nasty niggas did not close that door. Like, what the fuck? No one, like, Oh my god, like it was fine. It's fine. I get it. No one's gonna come by, but just close the door. Come on, close the door. Come on, guys, just close the door. We're still gonna see the scene. Like, it's not like the cameramen are leaving. It's just like, come on, private. That was a private moment. You would think that she would have came in and closed the door, but it's whatever. It's whatever. It's not a huge big pro, but wonderful scene. Great episode, great setup episode. It started out a little slow, but it's progressing very well. Game of Thrones as a whole is progressing very well, and I'm very excited for the upcoming episodes, especially this, probably episode 4. But I feel like we're gonna get pretty teased in the next episode. But episode 4, especially, I'm very excited for. So, once again, this was Nuie. These are just my thoughts on Game of Thrones. Be sure to leave your guys' thoughts and any comments you have on this video in the comment section below, and I will catch you all next week for the next episode, after the next episode of Game of Thrones. So, see you all later, and have a good day. Heaven sent my residence, it's heaven, just visiting, blending.